I constructed a solo platform bed for my 2011 Element, and since I deliberately use ideas from other folks in the forum, I wanted to share what I've done. Perhaps other ideas will be inspired. I think it's a good idea to write down a project's requirements. This slide is much better than my handwriting and lists the requirements for my design. Of course, any bed needs to be level, and so the first task is to make sure the vehicle is parked so that it's level. Creating a surface that's level side to side isn't too hard. I chose part of the metal rear seat brackets that have a small bolt going into the side of the Element. This portion of the bracket has a small horizontal surface, and I use that surface as my starting point. I cut a 2x3 to fit across the interior. The ends were notched so that the 2x3 fit over the head of the bolt and rested on the small horizontal surface on each side. The support at the rear had to be placed far enough back so that the left rear passenger seat could be completely lowered. I placed the second 2x3 across the rear portion of the side pockets and contoured the ends to match the curvature of the interior plastic panels. This rear 2x3 was placed so the full width of the board was supported by the interior plastic rail of each side pocket. A piece of 3/8" plywood had to be placed between the plastic rail and the 2x3 so the top of the rear 2x3 would be level with the front 2x3. To minimize the need for floor supports, I used the right rear seat attachment bars in the center of the floor and similar bars on the sidewall. Using these metal bars provided a secure method of attachment. I placed a 2-foot by 4-foot piece of 3/4" plywood across the two 2x3s. Then I measured the distance from the underside of the plywood to the bars in the center of the floor. I used a hole pattern in 7-ply 3/8" plywood that required this panel to be dropped over the bars and then slid forward so that the panel would be captured by the bars and not move forward or come off the bars in a quick stop or accident. I cut the panel to barely clear the underside of the platform. Then I used a piece of 2x2 to contact both the panel and the platform, and I bolted and glued the 2x2 to the panel. The reason this panel has a sloped front surface is to clear the front 2x3 that was kept in place to provide support during fabrication. For the side seat support, I used 1/2" oak with a similar hole pattern so it also would be captured by the side bars. And I used some 1/16" hard rubber pads to secure the 1/2" oak in the side channel. Again, I used a 2x2 piece of wood fitted between the 3/4" platform and the 1/2" oak and bolted and glued it to the 1/2" oak. This 2x2 had to be cut so that it wouldn't interfere with other portions of the side seat mounting bracket. I cut the 3/4" plywood to fit the contour of the interior body panels in the rear, and I shortened the 48 inches so that the front of this panel lined up with the front of the left rear seat. I also added several 1-inch holes around the perimeter so I could use bungee cords to hold things in place if I stacked them on the bed. I also used a 1/4" radius router to round the edges of the platform. Then I drilled 2 holes in the middle and side supports, assembled the platform, and match drilled holes in the platform. I also drilled holes in the rear 2x3. I used T-nuts and 1/4" flathead screws to hold the platform to these supports. To link the main platform to the front platform, I copied a tongue support idea from one of the other platform bed designs. On the main platform, I constructed a groove for the tongue that was attached to the front platform. At this point, the front 2x3 could be removed. I lowered the front passenger seat and worked on the front platform. I decided to support the forward portion of this platform with a vertical pedestal. The 1/4" plywood that forms the foot of this pedestal covers most of one section of the seat cushion to distribute the weight. There are two vertical pieces of 2x2 that slip into a boxed 2x2 area glued to the underside of this platform. At the back end, I got worried about the weight supported by the side pockets at the back of the element, and I built small towers on each side to distribute the weight more directly to the plastic floor portion on the side.